Hello everyone, welcome to Cellopedia. This is Maxim. Today I would like to share with you one of the best ways to warm up with your left hand and review or possibly learn new positions. It will work well for beginner cellists or also with cellists with some experience who would like to get new ideas and improve their left hand precision. To make it easier for you to choose which exercise you need to fit into your practice routine, I will break it down to 3 parts. In part 1, we'll cover all the notes in the first position you can make shifts to. In part 2, we will extend our reach, making longer shifts. And in part 3, we'll cover many long shifts, those shifts which, if you play well, will make everyone to be impressed with your skill. Part 1. All the shifts you can make to the notes you can reach in the first position. Before making every shift, it's a good idea to try to imagine how your target note sounds like. And in the first position, it's fairly easy to do. You just play 2 notes, for instance, with the first and second finger. On the A string, it would be B and C. Then you make a shift with the first finger. Next step, from B to C sharp. The same idea. You play it a couple of times in the first position and then you make a shift to C sharp with the first finger. In this case, we can also make a shift to C sharp with the second finger. When we make all those shifts, we need to make sure that you put one of the fingers on the string. This way, you have a permanent contact between a string and a fingerboard. You don't lift your fingers when you make shifts. To be precise, you might use this technique later on in some particular situations. But to make it simple, let's first learn to make shifts this way. One more time, you keep fingers on the string all the time, from the point A to point B. The next note to explore is fourth finger, D on the A string. We will tune this note without making a shift, and then we'll make a shift with the first finger. What other option do we have to make this shift? We could use the second finger and the third finger. So you got the idea. If you make a shift to the second finger, you can only use the first finger. If you make a shift to the third finger, you could use the first and second finger. And if you make a shift to the fourth finger, you could use the first finger, the second finger, and also the third finger. And this is how you warm up, making a shift to the fourth finger, D. What would be another note you could reach in the first position? That would be D sharp or E flat. You would just need to make an extension. We could try it the same way. First, you play those notes in the first extended position and then make a shift with the first, second, and the third fingers. It will be very useful working on other strings too. I will show you how it works on the D string. Now I feel warmed up, and that means we can go to the part 2. Before we continue, I would like to mention that I recorded a number of Cellopedia courses on Udemy. And those courses designed for cellists from beginner to intermediate level. You can choose the course which will fit your particular needs, and you will not only learn new music to play, but you will learn number of tips and tricks which my teachers and my cello friends passed to me, so I will be happy to share them with you. You can check out a part of each of those courses for free, and to make it even more affordable, I will put a link with a special discount code in the description. In part 2, we will explore longer shifts to the notes you can reach on the next string. To make this idea work, we'll start on the D string. That will work this way. It is very important to get a chance to hear the note you're about to make a shift to. This is why I first play the next note without making a shift. We start with the open string, then we will use the first finger, then second, then third, and the fourth finger. And it will work this way. Then we will do the same with B, first finger on the A string. We will make a shift from E to B, first in the same position, and then making a shift with the first, second, third, and fourth fingers. Then from E to C sharp. I believe that's a very good idea to make a shift with a slide when you are working on each particular shift. That will allow you to learn how it sounds like, and you will learn the connection. No matter how fast you will be making this shift in the future, you will always be able to imagine this slide, regardless if we can hear it or not. And now we'll try a shift from E to D using the fourth finger on the A string as a reference. We will make a shift with the first finger, second, third, and then fourth. When you try to reach higher positions, at some point you need to think about your wrist. Definitely when we talk about the notes below this imaginary line, then you have to take care of your wrist and elbow. You need to start adjusting the wrist and elbow position a little bit in advance. Otherwise, you will hit the wall, you will hit the cello, and that's a sound you can hear when many beginners try to make those long shifts. In order to avoid it, you can even try making this shift without playing actual notes. That's important to get used to this motion. I'll have more tips about launch shifts in the following part. And if you are still watching this video, that means you might be interested to play some duets with me, when you will learn to play the first part and you will use my recording to play alone. A while ago, I started this duet challenge for Patreon supporters. And if you consider supporting Cellopedia, depending on the level of your support, you will get a monthly or even weekly new video to learn and play along with me. You will find the link for weekly Patreon Cello Duet Challenge in the description. And in the last part, we will learn the launch shifts. The most important thing to me is to imagine the target note. You have to know how it sounds like. And the second step would be to make a slide. When you're practicing, it's in your control. Make sure that you know all the notes between the first note and your target note. And the third important thing is to get used to proper motion of your left hand. I'm talking about wrist and elbow. You have to adjust position accordingly to your target note. And you have to start preparation in advance. So very useful exercise would be just to use your left hand without using the bow. And imagine you make a launch shift. For the most launch shifts, you will need to move your thumb on top of the fingerboard. And it has to feel good and look good. As a preparation, make it number of times this motion. Do you see that my thumb is moving from under the fingerboard to its side and then to the top of the fingerboard? Depending on length of your fingers, you might be able to reach some notes while still keeping your thumb under the neck of the cello or touching its sides. That means there is no one rule which will fit to everyone. But the best way to learn it is to try it. We will go from the note in the first position to the same letter one octave higher. That will make it easier to remember how the note sounds like. We'll start with B on the A string. Did you hear the slide? I made it on purpose. And that what will make it easier to find that note. And it will help you to relax, which will make your left hand motion more precise. It will look, it will feel, and it will sound much better. Next step is from C, second finger, to a C one octave higher. Then from C sharp to C sharp. And finally from D to D. Extending this exercise, you will need to go to other strings. Here, how it will work on the D string. If you have more time to practice and warm up, you can definitely use different combinations of fingerings. For instance, you can make every shift not just to the third finger as I just did, but to the first, second, or even fourth. But for warming up, I think what I showed to you would be just enough. I tried to avoid making this video too long. There are few other things about shifts, about reference points, about the ways you move your left hand. And if you are interested learning more, please check out my other videos on YouTube or explore Cellopedia Udemy courses. Keep playing cello. See you soon.